This vlog, we will hear an interview by ANC with outgoing Ombudsman Samuel Martires. Of course, we know that Samuel Martires was appointed by Rodrigo Duterte as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court and then thereafter Ombudsman. No? He is going to retire this month, and there appears to be a campaign to demonize Samuel Martires because he is being accused as a lapdog of the Dutertes. But what is really the record of Samuel Martires? Was there an instance where he intervened for the Dutertes in using the office of the Ombudsman, or even when he was still a Supreme Court Justice? So there is no notable incident about that. Only a few weeks ago, not of his own doing, but because of the committee of Congressman Chua. Remember, pinasahan siya ng copy ng findings ng TRICOM ni Chua. Tapos, the Ombudsman treated it as a formal complaint filed by Chua. So, sinagpinan niya si VP. Tapos, from there, nag-create ng panic, kasi akala ng House prosecutors sa impeachment i-resolve ni Ombudsman Martires, i-dismiss. Sabi ni Ombudsman Martires, according to him, under the law, he is not allowed to do that. He is only allowed to investigate because VP Sara is an impeachable officer, and she can only be prosecuted once she is removed from office. And it would be illogical for him to resolve and say, find probable cause and file a case against VP Sara in court when the impeachment is still ongoing. What if in the impeachment, VP Sara is acquitted, and that would be a contradictory finding with the office of the Ombudsman. So katawa-tawa yun. Sabi ni Martires, hindi siya magpa-file ng hindi yun aabot sa point na may findings on dismissal na walang probable cause or may probable cause kasi may impeachment pa. Anyway, he's being accused of a lapdog of the Dutertes, and in this interview may sinabi siya so let us hear his side.
Ang nangyari ito sa Ombudsman, look, bakit kami binigyan ng... Ito ang natanong namin sa sarili namin sa Ombudsman. Bakit kami binigyan ng kopya ng investigation report? Hindi naman kami media bureau ng House of Representatives, diba?
Okay, hindi na kinayo. Sorry,
hindi naman ako pwede maging spokesperson dahil ang English ko ay Bisaya, di ba? Mali yung mga pronunciation ko. So, bakit kami binigyan noon? Para Para basahin lang? Wala na kayong panahon magbasa Manood nga ng Netflix, hindi na kami nakakapanood di ba? Para nga bigyan kami? Sabi ng isang kaibigan ko, actually, yung term na para gawing scratch paper, galing niya sa isang kaibigan kung maputi ang buhok.
So is this?
Wala nang kinababahala nga nila.
Kasi sir, parang sabi baka inutusan kayo. Wala.
Sino nag-utos ka sa akin? Okay. Kasi yung sinasabi nga nila na appointee ako ni Digong, sinabi ko na, di ba?
Yes.
Now, there is one thing I want everyone to know. Buong taong bayan, mula nang ako'y in-appoint ni Digong sa Supreme Court hanggang sa Ombudsman, ni minsan ay hindi nakiusap sa akin si Digong either directly, through his relatives, or through any of his cabinet members, including Medialdea, Panelo, and Bongo. Walang ipinakiusap sa akin si Digong na sabihin sa akin, Sam, pwede bang tulungan mo si Alan Catos dito sa kaso niya? Never. O Sam, pwede bang kasuhan mo yun si Joseph Morong? Wala. Si Digong ay never. Yun ang nirerespeto ko sa kanya. Na nirespeto din niya yung aming trabaho. The only thing that Digong told me when he appointed as ombudsman, even sa Supreme Court, just do your job.
Sir, si Vice, nagparamdam niya.
Vice Sara? No, never also. In fact, I only met the Vice President once in our out-of-town hearings when I was with the Sandigan Bayan, when she treated us, I think, for lunch dahil hindi pwede noon si Digong. So siya ang sumalo sa siya nagpakain sa amin ng lunch. That's the first and the last time I met the Vice President.
Okay. So, klaro, no? Klinaro talaga ni Ombudsman Samuel Martires na, yes, no, he was appointed by Duterte, but there was never an instance when Duterte, no, asked favor from him. And I believe him, no? Kasi tingnan mo yung record ni Samuel Martires. Wala naman siyang record na corrupt siya. Wala siyang kaso, no? In fact, in this interview, he said nga, he does not want to be in the front seat, no? Gusto niya, doon lang siya sa background, no? And he does not fancy himself as a powerful person occupying a powerful office, no? So we wish him good luck, no, in his retirement, no. Now, meanwhile, in contrast with Sam Martires is Boying Rimulya, no? Because Boying Rimulya is applying for the position of ombudsman, no? And in this interview, tinanong siya ng reporter, no, on that particular issue, no? So ito sabi ni Boying.
So
I'm submitting my application by Friday, before Friday.
bakit, sir?
Wala. I think that I have a lot to offer there. Ganun din.
Sorry, pero di ko may final kong complaint sa inyo si Sir.
Okay lang yun. The JBC can always evaluate that properly.
Pero hindi naman po yun conflict na.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Sir, kung sakali pong matanggap yung inyong application or matanggap kayo for the position, meron ba kayong list of names na i-refer kay Pangulo na pwedeng pumalit sa inyo? Meron ba kayong...
Meron.
Sige, sir.
Hindi, madali na yun. Saka na pag-usapan yan.
shortlist?
That's very speculative. Nag-a-apply pa lang ako. Ayun naman. Sige.
Pero sir,
Okay, so he was well, in fairness to him, he was candid, no? When he was asked if he was interested and he is applying for the position, he said yes, no, without batting an eyelash, no. And then a reporter asked him, hindi ba yun concern na conflict kasi may pending kayo na kaso sa ombudsman, yung pinahil nga ni Senator Amy Marcos, no, with respect to the alleged kidnapping of Rodrigo Duterte to The Hague. Sabi niya, hindi, i-evaluate niya kasi ng JBC yung application ko. Ang Office of the Ombudsman kasi, ang ombudsman position kasi is like being appointed to the judiciary, no? You will undergo a process. You will be screened by the JBC, and the JBC will recommend a list of names to the president, and the president will appoint from that list. Now, si Boying Rimulya kasi is a politician. Politician siya. And sa history sa creation sa ombudsman kasi, wala pang politician na na-appoint as ombudsman. Logically, because yung mostly na involved sa mga corruption, mga politiko . So, ang nakakasuhan ng ombudsman, ang napoprosecute ng ombudsman sa Sandigan Bayan, mga politiko. And I don't think sa tagal-tagal na panahon ni Boying Rimulya as politician, well, hindi siya na-imbestigaran ng ombudsman. No? So, na-investigate din ito si Rimulya. In fact, may pending nga siya na ombudsman, na kaso sa ombudsman. No? Now, why is Boying Rimulya so interested with the ombudsman position? Notice that he is very close to the president. The Rimulya brothers are very close to the president, John Vic and Boying. No? So it is not rocket science to think, no, that if Boying Rimulya will be appointed to the office of the ombudsman as ombudsman, he is being put there by Marcos Jr. himself to protect Marcos Jr. in case the Marcos Jr. and his cabal cannot keep power in 2028. Okay? So strategic kasi ang position ng ombudsman. It protects not only Marcos Jr. but the people, including Boying Rimulya himself, no? Who allegedly conspired with Marcos Jr. To do illegal things that they are being accused of doing at present. No? So, protection yon, no? Si Boying Rimulya. Is that good? It's not good, of course. No? Because the office of the ombudsman, if you look at the ombudsman law, the two important qualifications to become an ombudsman is that he must have probity, no? And independence. Okay? How can you be independent if you are beholden to the appointing authority? And being beholden to the appointing authority is so obvious at present. No? So that is the bad thing about this. No? And personally, I don't want Boying Rimulya to be appointed, but I have a strong feeling that he will be the next ombudsman, no? Because that is a strategic move, no? That Marcos Jr. will do to protect him in case he can't keep power after in 2028. Okay, that's all. Thank you.